Definitely peaked when, as a classmate of George W. Bush, he lived right next to the Tomb, the group's heavily fortified home. From their perch, Rosenbaum and his cohorts taped the Tomb's courtyard. What they captured, they say, was initiates, known as neophytes, being forced to kiss a skull, then members performing a mock killing. It may look like your average fraternity nonsense, but Rosenbaum says it's not.
Even though it may seem silly to us, it seems to mean something to them, and you can't argue with the success of Skull and Bones.
True. Famous alums include senators John Kerry and John Chafee, to name two, cabinet secretaries such as Averell Harriman, and three presidents, William Taft, George Bush, and George W. Bush, who's been reluctant to talk about Skull and Bones.
Does it still exist? The thing is so secret, I'm not even sure it still exists.
Rosenbaum says the tape is a valuable artifact, an extremely rare view into the secret society that groomed the American ruling class for generations.
Rumors of the latest rituals say that a newly accepted initiate must lie down naked in a casket and masturbate while the other members watch gathered in a circle. The Skull and Bones are known for their odd and sexually promiscuous rituals, but many don't know of the horrific and evil acts committed by these members throughout our government. David Icke once wrote, "In May 1918, Prescott Bush and 5 other Skull and Bones men ransacked the grave at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. They took turns to stand guard while others robbed the grave and took away artifacts and Geronimo's skull. This was taken to the Skull and Bones headquarters at Yale, where it is used in their sick rituals and ceremonies. This horrible story is told in an international history of the Skull and Bones Society and was quoted to Ned Anderson, the tribal chairman of the San Carlos Apache tribe, when he was negotiating to have Geronimo's remains returned to the tribe's custody. A 1989 article in the New Yorker said, one bonesman recalled during the early 70s seeing perhaps 30 skulls, not all of them human, scattered about the tomb at Yale. This is the mentality of the people running our world. Every Skull and Bonesman has been incredibly successful and put at great powers in our government. President Bush tapped 5 bonesmen, including William Donaldson, the head of the Securities and Exchange Commission, to join his administration. John Kerry, class of 1966, became Senator and Secretary of State. Henry Luce, the founder of Time magazine, Life, Fortune, Home, and Sports Illustrated, was a bonesman. General Manager of the New York Times, Amory Howe Bradford, was a bonesman, class of 1934, and married Carol Warburg Rothschild. Percy Rockefeller, class of 1900, was a wealthy businessman and sat on directors' boards for many corporations. Richard Gow, president of George Bush's Zapata Oil Company, was a bonesman, class of 1955. Alexandra Robbins, in a CBS interview, stated, "They do have many individuals in influential positions, and that's why this is something that we need to know about." The Skull and Bones, being interleaked with many government branches, is also connected to the CIA. Many powerful bonesmen in our government were very much involved in the CIA. The Central Intelligence Agency is widely known for its shadowy acts and strange positions it holds in government power. Many bonesmen have graduated with CIA and intelligence community jobs waiting for them too. F. Truby Davison, Howard Weaver, William Sloane Coffin Jr., V. Van Dyne, James Buckley, Bill Buckley, Hugh Cunningham, Hugh Wilson, Reuben Holden, Charles R. Walker, Robert D. French, Archibald MacLeish, Dino Pionzio, William and McGeorge Bundy, Richard Moore, and George Bush are all bonesmen with U.S. intelligence agency jobs. Eric Dubé, The Atlantean Conspiracy. The Skull and Bones Society, along with the Bush family, put illegal drugs such as heroin and cocaine on the streets of the U.S. and the rest of the world. The Illuminati families in America and Britain launched an international drug trade and still maintain it today. Through their power in government agencies, they wipe out opposition, and this is exactly what you see when you watch a big drug bust on the news. Controlling the drug trade is a huge step to gaining financial power and is also a key factor in keeping parts of the world poor, unhealthy, and in poverty. The Skull and Bones Society has branches of power throughout the government, and Bushes were just one of the biggest families to be involved in the drug trade. David Icke once wrote, The Skull and Bones Society is owned by the Russell Trust, an organization controlled by the Russells, a drug-running bloodline family. They flew the Skull and Bones flag on their ships as they transported drugs from the British Empire, from Turkey to China, and elsewhere during the Opium Wars of the 19th century. The Skull and Bones is an ancient Illuminati symbol used in its sacrificial rituals and secret language, not least by the Knights Templar. The Skull and Bones is a very well-hidden secret society that has infiltrated many positions of power in the U.S. government. One of their greatest methods of manipulation is the bipartisan Republican-Democrat system, in which they present two political figures from two different parties, and the American people have an election where they vote for which candidate they like more. This is clearly giving the illusion of choice to the population. They control both parties. They control the entire system. Yet I am supposed to believe that just by voting for one of their controlled puppets, that somehow everything is going to change? What are the chances that out of 300 million people, the two elected candidates would be related and both members of the same secret society? This is not a coincidence. It is reality. The Skull and Bones have taken big positions in power and have paved the way for the New World Order. They control both parties of the political system and have members in different sections of the government. In a 1992 interview with reporter Sarah McClendon, George H.W. Bush stated, "If the American people ever find out what we, the Bushes, have done, they would chase us down the street and lynch us."
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go
I'm
on.
sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web.
Number 322?
First of all, he's not the nominee. And, look, I look
Are
forward...
you prepared to lose?
No, I'm not going to lose.
You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us?
Not much, because it's a secret.